This is Paul Thomas, Senior Editor of Pharmaceutical Manufacturing Magazine, pharmamanufacturing.com, and pharmaqbd.com. I'm here today with Suraj Matthew, who is Director in the Life Sciences Practice for Tefen Management Consulting. Suraj, thanks for being with us today.
Pleasure to be here.
We're going to talk a little bit today about Tefen's biopharma consortia that they've had for the last several years. Suraj, could you tell us a little bit more about what the consortia are and what comes out of them each year?
Tefen started up the Biopharma OpEx Consortium back in 2002. We usually hold anywhere between 2 to 3 a year. The goal of the consortium is to bring like people within the industry, peers together to discuss learnings, the mistakes that have occurred within their industry, within the organization, so people can learn from each other and better the industry, better their own organization by learning from each other.
And the most recent consortium was in California just earlier this month. Can you tell us what were the main things that came out of that consortium?
Sure. The consortium was based in Fremont, California, actually. We took a tour of the NUMMI plant, Toyota plant. The theme of the consortium was culture and discipline for transformation in OpEx. The goal was to get people together to discuss openly about what has worked in their implementation of an OpEx program or OpEx system. People were able to share the training programs that they implemented. They were able to share issues that came up during implementation, both from the tools perspective and from people management and people change.
And who were some of the participants, and how is this a little bit different than your average industry trade show?
In an average industry trade show or a conference, you have hundreds of people with a couple of days of speeches, presentations where people come and present. The consortium, on the other hand, is a smaller group of people within the industry that primarily share their immediate learnings. So the difference is you have a group that's able to sit and openly discuss and share as opposed to one person standing up and presenting what has happened in a particular organization. The reason this has worked very well for us and for the people in the industry is the fact that not only are they just being educated, they're able to share one's knowledge and hence be able to take lessons learned back home and implement it in their immediate department and organization.
Mm-hmm. And what were a couple of those key learnings then? What was the buzz at this meeting in terms of the issues that people really wanted to talk about?
The key word I would use is grassroots. One thing people have learned over time, OpEx has been relatively new to the industry, and when I say new, maybe 3 to 5 years. So what people have learned over the years and what people have been able to discuss in these consortiums is the fact that change comes from bottom up, not a dictation from top down. So being able to understand that the operators, the technicians, are closer to the product and process. They're the ones that touch it, that face the immediate problem. Working with them, involving them in applications of all these OpEx tools helps greater sustainability. So the buzz was to involve all levels of the organization in decision making and in changes to make sure that it's going to be sustainable.
And it sounds like something that management talks about frequently, listening to the guy in the plant and making sure that everybody in the organization is involved. Mm-hmm. But you seem to be saying that they're really serious about it. How do you know that?
The difference is between being committed and being involved. Lip service versus being actually part of the change. Management in the past has said they wanted to do things, but I think as years have progressed, as they have seen the fact that things haven't materialized, management needs to and is, in my opinion, certain organizations getting more involved in the grassroots changes. In addition to just talking about it, you'll see people out there, senior management, taking tours of plants, talking to people. They're committed to communications, both top-down and bottom-up. And this really helps the organization as a whole to learn from both sides, management and the operators.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of touring plants, one of the aspects of this most recent consortium was a tour of the Toyota NUMMI plant in Fremont, California. Can you explain a little bit about this plant, what makes it special, and how this became part of the meeting?
Well, prior to this consortium, the previous one held out on the East Coast, the general attendees were very keen on knowing how OpEx, how the lean tools, how Six Sigma tools have been implemented in other industries. Like I mentioned, since it's been applicable only in the biopharma industry for the last 3 to 4 years, they haven't had the opportunity to know what's happening outside. So that's how we ended up setting up this tour of the NUMMI plant. Why NUMMI? Toyota, they are the leaders in Lean Six Sigma. They have the Toyota production system. Hence, we figured it would be a good opportunity for people to come out and see what is being done in a best-in-class environment. The learnings that people took away from it was they were able to see something that's what they believed in the past was different. They believed the biopharmaceutical industry as a whole is different, cannot be compared to the automobile industry, the aerospace industry. Taking a tour of the NUMMI plant helped people realize that at the end of the day, it's the same matter. It's people, process, and tools. It's how you apply them and how you sustain them that's going to matter. It's not the industry or the process involved in the industry that's going to matter.
Do you think the people that were on the tour with you shared in that sentiment and that they came away having some concrete ideas on things that they could take from this Toyota plant and use actually in their own facilities?
I believe the answer to that would be yes. Looking out at the plant when we were taking the tours, they saw the amount of complexity involved in just building a car, all the different parts that needed to come together, all the different materials that need to come together, all the different processes that need to jive together, similar to the biopharma industry. At the end of the day, what you have is raw material being converted to a final product. It's true irrespective of industry, irrespective of product. And the takeaway from that tour was, yes, it can be done irrespective of environment. What we would need to do is make sure that we sustain it.
And this will be my last question. You talked about the importance of grassroots, and you talked about the fact that you feel like upper management really wants to communicate more with middle management and people in the plants. Do you really see the biopharma industry changing in this direction in the next few years? And if so, what kinds of things might we see more of?
I believe they will. It may be because of the need to, because of the environment, because of the economy, but I definitely believe there will be changes within the industry. Senior management will definitely have to take strides in changing the way they do things just because things that are trying to be implemented are not being sustained, or vice versa because they had been trying to set forth a program that has not seen fruit, has not borne fruit, sorry. So yes, there will definitely need to be changes, and I have seen it in a couple of organizations where senior management have been more dedicated, more committed to both open communications and to listening to the people to know where the decisions need to be made, what strategy needs to be implemented, and how it needs to be deployed.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you, Suraj. Thanks so much for sharing these thoughts with us, and look forward to talking to you again.
Thanks, Paul.
Mm-hmm.